When ZLP gone the rule, when ZLP gone the rule, Nigeria go better. When ZLP gone the rule, ZLP, better Nigeria. ZLP, better Nigeria. Better Nigeria. I hereby present to you your certificate of return as the presidential candidate of Senate Labour Party.
This is my acceptance speech. This is my acceptance speech for this honor you have done to me to fly the flag of the party in the next presidential election next year. I must thank you for believing in me. I must thank you for the confidence you have in my ability, and I assure you that I will make good use of this mandate. There are a few points that I will take up as President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. These are the ones I will give immediate priority. And the first has to do with national unity. As we get into the business of governance, the first thing my government will do as the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is to unite Nigerians. We are not united. We are living in self-deceit and pretensions. Nigeria's unity has suffered very serious setback, especially in the past 11 years. Our diversity, which ought to be a source of strength, has been mismanaged mostly by the All Progressive Congress federal government. Since May 2015, ethnicity and religious consciousness have deepened almost to the point of threatening the corporate existence of the Federation. The little trust among Nigerians, which ought to be nurtured by the subsequent governments, has unfortunately been eroded over the period under review. Any pretense to patriotism is unfounded. Many Nigerians, especially the youth, who are expected to be the future hope of this country, are steadily losing their confidence in Nigeria's citizenship. My government, therefore, will take it as a national emergency to prioritize urgent steps to unite Nigeria by promoting inclusive government, restore citizens' rights all over the country, and set up sustainable building blocks that will engender unity and generate patriotic zeal in Nigeria. It is only in this way that every other program of my government will have the prospect of positive implementation. Nigeria will, under my watch, be restored to her earlier trajectory of steady and rapid growth under one banner as a nation. It is in the overall interest of all citizens, irrespective of ethnic or sectional sentiments, to unite and restore their confidence in Nigeria as a nation. State of insecurity. The insecurity in Nigeria has deteriorated to the point of both local and international embarrassment. It is indeed scandalous and shameful that every Nigerian government, especially the APC government, that have been in power for about 11 years, have shown lack of political will to tackle decisively the problems of insecurity. Many well-meaning Nigerians, political leaders, security experts, have presented several achievable solutions to the problems of insecurity, but the attitude of the government gives the impression that they seem to benefit from the deplorable state of affairs. Policies of government seem to encourage terrorism, banditry, and insurgency. We have a country where, under the guise of non-kinetic approach to the issue of insecurity, the government, by its policies, actions, pamper and rehabilitate criminals, insurgents, and terrorists, captured in action with rehabilitation packages, which include giving them some training in some skill acquisition and giving them large sums of taxpayers' money and release them to go and start a new life. While the victims of their banditry, criminality, and terrorism are abandoned to wallow in the so-called IDPs camps, and the diseased ones are not given any decent burial as our religions and traditions demand. The ministry created for the welfare of the vulnerable and victims of this displacement from their ancestral homes turned out to be a cesspool of corruption and wanton embezzlement. It is a common knowledge that no country with this level of insecurity can develop. If I'm given the mandate by the Nigerian people to become the president, commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I will immediately undertake the following actions. 1, as the president, I will equip and direct all security agencies to smoke out these insurgents and criminals, wherever they are within the shores and boundary of Nigeria. I will eliminate them without mercy. Those who have been arrested and captured will be prosecuted swiftly and expeditiously to the full limits of the law. In the process of investigation and prosecution of these criminals, their collaborators, enablers, and facilitators will also be similarly prosecuted and punished. I will, without delay, send executive bill to the National Assembly for a new and effective police architecture that will establish federal police, state police, and community policing. It is an aberration to operate a centralized police system in a country as vast and populated as Nigerians, Don't worry, I'll come to power.
Thank you, sir.
All the security votes that are appropriated in both national and sub-national levels of government must be accounted for. All technologies and innovations that are available in other countries in fighting insecurity in those countries must be acquired for similar operations in Nigeria. The welfare of security personnel will receive my top priority. And in the same token, any misconduct or infraction by security personnel and their leaders will be sanctioned instantly. Every effort of my government to promote and boost agricultural development, tourism, industrial growth, and foreign direct investment, every effort by the previous government to do all this will continue to stagnate now if we do not decisively and proactively solve the problem of insecurity in Nigeria. Corruption. My government will tackle corruption. It's not the way we are doing it today. A situation in our country where political leaders unashamedly encourage corrupt political and public office holders to join the ruling party in order to be forgiven their sins of corruption is not only unacceptable, but it is also scandalous. My government will have zero tolerance for corruption. The laws establishing all existing anti-corruption agencies will be reviewed to give them more teeth, to make them proactive and effective. My government will undertake the audit of all property and bank deposits in Nigeria to determine the legality of those acquisitions. Did you get what I'm saying? Yes. All property, all deposits, we are going to interrogate them. The movement of money is not being tracked as it is done in other civilized democracies. Prevention of crime, rather than pursuing those that have already committed the crime, will receive top priority of my administration. For quite some years now, some public officers have been found guilty by our courts of embezzlement and diverting several billions of naira, Nigeria's wealth, while in office for just a couple of years. If the country operates a fraud preventive mechanism, this massive stealing of public funds will be nipped in the bud. It is on record that the leakages in our public establishment, corporations, parastatals, and agencies far outweigh the money that accrues to the Federation account. The probing of all of these establishments since the birth of our nascent democracy in 1999 will be carried out by my administration. I believe if this is sincerely and thoroughly done, Nigeria may recover enough of our common patrimony in common hands that will eliminate our penchant for unbridled borrowing from financial institutions and countries abroad. Such money will also be deployed in transparent manner to revamp healthcare, education, and our infrastructures. Power. It is common knowledge that without adequate and functional energy supplies, every other aspect of national development will continue to suffer. The energy sector is about the most mismanaged sector in Nigeria. It has remained scandalous that a country as large as Nigeria, with the enormous human and material resources, cannot boast of 5,000 megawatts of electricity at any point in time. Whereas smaller countries, both in size and resources, boast of 40,000 to 50,000 megawatts of electricity. Recently, Ghana celebrated its 5 years of uninterrupted electricity supply. Masjid Al-Haram in Mecca, with a population of approximately 4 million worshippers, consume about 100 megawatts of energy supply on a daily basis. Masjid Al-Haram is in Mecca. Google it. Verify. Recently, the President of Nigeria, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, installed a 10 billion solar energy supply in the presidency, guaranteeing his personal comfort and exiting the scandalous national grid that has held the country down for several decades. This bad example is already being emulated by governors across the 36 states of the country. When governments of national and sub-national level exit from the national grid in this manner, how then will those in authority feel and appreciate the sufferings of many millions of Nigerians who cannot afford the option of solar in installing solar power facilities in their homes or in their factories? This escapism from the system that the government is promoting must be condemned in its entirety. My government will encourage the policies of clean energy as is currently being promoted across the world. And also, my government will review the grid system and encourage private investments, including the state governments, to also invest in energy supply. We have abandoned our vast coal deposits, whereas the South Africa success in electricity power is driven by coal. The same is applicable in China and even in the United States. Here in Nigeria, we have abundant coal reserve in Enugu and Kogi states and other parts of the country that has been abandoned. My government will explore and exploit all the potentials of driving our energy program through the use of our coal resources. Industrialization. Nigeria has a huge potential for industrialization, but policies of government have not encouraged these critical aspects of development in our country. Ease of doing business has not been properly addressed to attract foreign potential investors. Many visits to Nigeria by investors are exploring the possibility of investing in Nigeria, but are discouraged by the hurdles placed on the ease of doing business in the country in the area of procurement of land and other expected amenities from government, e.g. energy, water supply, and road infrastructure to access the land even where such land is available. My government will make special provisions through financial institutions to make access to funds easy for young entrepreneurs who have viable projects that can scale medium and small-scale businesses at all levels in order to encourage entrepreneurship. In this way, the young people in this country can be expected to begin to look inwards on how to contribute to productivity and growth. Unfortunately, the numerous graduates that come out of the universities are left to idle because there are no jobs for them, both in harness and their skill and training in the private and public sector, thereby encouraging them to be involved in other vices to survive. My government will encourage youth and young entrepreneurs not to wait for opportunities, but I will provide the needed environment that will encourage them to exploit their skills to generate opportunities. States should be encouraged who have the prerogative or the right, constitutional right, to issue certificate of occupancy to liberalize and shorten the time of issuance of such vital documents in order to encourage people to invest. Where the investment is substantial, government should prioritize the construction and access roads and the provisions of basic amenities to such location as an incentive to the investors to invest and bring in the necessary technologies. My government will encourage the private sector through proactive measures to ensure there is availability of capital to support entrepreneurs, especially young entrepreneurs, to scale up their productivity. The details of what has been said and more here are contained in my manifesto, from education to transportation, security, health, nationalism, and steps to a review of the Constitution to effectively protect the citizens, the rights of citizens. Fiscal politics will be vigorously pursued to encourage states and local governments to promote literacy from primary to secondary levels. Management of educational institutions will be taken away from the control of federal government solely and transferred to states and local governments and private establishments. In line with our federalism, my government will, as much as possible and where necessary, devolve responsibilities to federating units instead of concentrating every aspect of power and governance at the center. The details of our manifesto will be on our website from Monday. I want to thank you for this opportunity again given to me, and I want to assure you that the Zenith Labour Party will get involved forcefully in this exercise within the ambit of the law. God bless the Zenith Labour Party. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.